Hello, welcome to TCFL Central, home of the TCFL Game of the Week. Today's show is the TCFL Weekend Review, Week 7. First thing on the agenda is to go over last week's game. So let's take a look at Week 7 games. We have Nashville over Detroit, 36-32. Take a little bit. Scoring drives. Regular drives. Detroit had 458 yards, but to Nashville's 391. Both teams passed for over 200, and Detroit even rushed for over 200 yards. Player stats, we have Cook at 155 yards rushing. Murray and Jackson both threw for over 200, and Jackson ran for 24 or more. The drive summary and the starting lineups. Next up is New York at Yosemite. New York wins the game 26-23. New York scored 2 field goals in the fourth quarter to tie and then take over the lead. All the drive summaries, final statistics for the teams, both over 300 yards total offense. New York just missed 300 yards passing. Now the player stat, Mayfield 299, 2 touchdowns. Same thing with Watson, 284, 2 touchdowns. Neither team rushed very well. Go through this play-by-play. And let's go to Sheridan at MaCross. Sheridan wins the game 28-16. Sheridan managed 12 points in the fourth quarter to secure the win. Drive summary. Team statistics. Sheridan with well over 300 yards net offense, and they did crack the 300-yard passing mark. As Rivers threw for exactly 300 yards. Okay, there's the play-by-play and the lineups. Okay, next up was Akron at Green. Green edges out Akron 27-24. Green won the game in overtime with a field goal. Akron with 3:32 left in the fourth quarter kicked a field goal to tie. They also scored a touchdown and a 2-point conversion in the fourth to give them the tie at 24-24, and then Crosby kicks a field goal to win the game for Green in overtime. Both teams had offenses of over 400 yards. Mahomes passed for 300, had 3 touchdowns. Wilson passed for 297 and 2 touchdowns. Henry rushed for 153 yards for Akron. One of the top rushing days of the week. And there's the play-by-play and the starting lineups. Okay, next game was Woodland at Putnam County. Woodland loses to Putnam County 27-38. Woodland had the lead at the end of the third, 27-24. Putnam came back with 14 unanswered points to defeat Whitland 38-27. Tribes. Putnam County had 375 total yards to Whitland 279. Both teams passed for 200 yards. Kamara ran for over 100 yards rushing. Here's the play-by-play and the lineups. Next game on the schedule was Front Street at Cleveland. As you can see, the fourth quarter was very active for Cleveland, as they came back from a 26-14 deficit to defeat Front Street 32-26. They ended up with an 18-point fourth quarter, along with a 2-point conversion. Both teams had total offenses of over 400 yards, and both teams threw for well over 300. See the stats. Rogers and Carr both threw 300. Rogers and Carr both had 4 touchdowns. Play-by-play, final. All their lineups. Next game on the Week 7 schedule was Champion at Transylvania. As you can see here, Champion scored 14 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. The third and fourth quarter to solidify the lead and the win at 28-10. Champion had 400 yards total offense to Transylvania 290, and Champion just missed 300-yard passing game by 1 yard. Cousins had a pretty bad day as he was sacked 4 times and threw 2 interceptions. On the bright side, Transylvania did have a 100-yard rusher in Montgomery, but it wasn't enough, and Champion did win 28-10. And there's the part of their lineups. Okay, last game on the schedule was Hazard County at Winnipeg. Going into the fourth quarter, it was Hazard County 14, Winnipeg 24. Hazard County did get on the board to make a 1-possession game, but Winnipeg then scored back-to-back touchdowns to solidify the win at 38-21. Drive summaries. Both teams had over 400 yards total offense. Hazard County threw for over 300 yards. You see, Tannehill had 331 passing yards, 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. Tannehill had 271 yards passing, but had 5 touchdowns. Williams for Winnipeg had a 100-yard game at 102. And Cook of Winnipeg had 3 touchdown catches. Cope had the other 2. The play-by-play. And the starting lineups. Okay, before we go over the standings here, we do have 3 games from MaCross that need to be played. MaCross is a head-to-head team that has decided to play their season on the PC. So we're going to play those 3 games now, so all the statistics will be up to date with their 3 games. So go over to play. And we have the week 1 game left to play. And we'll do that. MaCross and Detroit. Even though it's week 1, the record would have been 0-0 so far in PC play. They've both gone 0-3, so somebody's going to come out with the win in this game. And it's a Detroit win, 22-20. Looking breeze through for 390 some yards. Detroit's Murray only 190-14. We'll take a look at the spot score real quick here for them. And then you can see the 4th quarter was fairly accurate with MaCross a field goal to get it within 1 possession at 13-16. But Detroit came back with just over a minute left in the game to score a touchdown. Field goal. Extra point was missed to give them a 22-13 lead. And even though MaCross scored at the end of the game, it wasn't enough as they ended up losing 22-20. Drives, total offense, MaCross had 400 plus, to Detroit's 300 plus. As you can see, Breeze threw for 395 yards, 2 touchdowns, Rory just 114, but Detroit's Cook ran for 116. Shark Jr. has 13 receptions for 167 yards. So he had a good day receiving was. There's the play-by-play and the starting lineups. Okay, so that's week 1 game for MaCross. They also had a week 2 game, and they're playing against New York. New York right now is 2-1. MaCross still looking for their first win. Go ahead, set up instant. We'll do auto, and we'll see if MaCross can come up with a win. And no, New York edged them out 17-9. Statistic-wise, Breeze this game only threw for 194, while Mayfield had a 255 game. Let's go ahead and take a look at the box score. And you can see here MaCross at the end of the 3rd quarter was only down by 1 point, 10-9, but they could not score in the 4th. New York ended up with a touchdown early in the 4th quarter to take what ended up being a commanding lead of 17-9. New York's offense was over 350, threw for 255. Go down to the player stats. Mayfield had an excellent game at 255 yards. Green ended up with 194. Rushing wise, nobody had a 100-yard game. There's the play-by-play. And starting lineups. Okay, MaCross did have one more game that they wanted to play, and that's the game against Akron. Akron so far is 1-2 in PC play. MaCross still looking for their first win. Akron is favored by 11. Doesn't look good for MaCross. They're trying to get at least one win under their belt. But they upset Akron 39-27. Breeze threw for 300 plus yards and 4 touchdowns. Let's take a look at this box score. As you can see, it looks like MaCross pretty much had the game well in hand. Compared to their 0-5 start, it looks like this is a very unusual game for them. That's true. Stats, both teams have well over 400 yards on offense. Each bats for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. Wilson had 2 touchdowns and 1 interception, 246. Gordon nearly cracked 100 yards rushing with 91. Henry had 87. Okay, there's the play-by-play and the starting lineups. Okay, now that takes us all caught up through week 7. And now we can take a look at the standings in the head-to-head side. Green is 6-0. Both Yosemite and Nashville. On the South Division, New York is 3-1. Detroit 1-3. Akron 1-3. And MaCross 1-5. Over on the PC side, East still has Winnipeg undefeated at 6-0, and Transylvania, Cleveland, Putnam County all 2-4. On the West Division on the PC side, Front Street 4-2. Woodland has County gets 1 game behind at 3-3, and then Champion 2-4. Remember, Champion is on the roll. They won their last 2 games. Okay, let's take a look at the league leaders. And here's the league leaders. Rushing Robinson still holding on to first place with over 600 yards. Receiving, Shepard and Adams have both caught over 40 passes. Adams is the only receiver with 600 plus yards. Adams has 9 touchdowns for Front Street. Passing leaders is still Rogers over Tanahan. Rogers rating 128. He has thrown for 17 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Tanahan right behind, 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Mahomes has also thrown for 17, and Watson has thrown for 16. Passing yards, Rivers leads the league with 1930. Again, touchdown Mahomes and Rogers with 17. We have 4 quarterbacks with 70% completion percentage. Interceptions, we have a couple players with 4. We've had a couple returns for touchdowns. Sack leaders, we have quite a few with 3. Kickoff return, Roberts. Doesn't look like there's been any touchdowns return. We do have 1 touchdown on the punt return. Kicking leader, Bagley and Winnipeg has 65 points. Punting, we have a couple. One punter is averaging over 50 yards a punt. a few statistics there. Okay, next up is the team stats. Okay, Akron, the main passing, receiving, and rushing stats. Champion, passing, receiving, and rushing stats. Cleveland, Detroit, Front Street, Greene, Hazard County, MaCross, Nashville, New York, Putnam County, Sheridan, Transylvania, Winnipeg, Wentland, and Yosemite. Okay, let's see how the big games. Yeah, let's take a quick look at this before we final everything up. Take a look at 300 yard passing games. You see we have quite a few 300 plus yard games. Let's do 400 yard games. So 100 yards. Robinson nearly had a 200 yard game. 1900 yard games. A few players have cracked 100 yards a couple times. And let's take a look at the receiving. And we have just one player that's caught for over 200 yards this season. Quite a few others that have 100 yard games. Okay, let's go over week 8 games. First game on the schedule is Winnipeg at Champion. Winnipeg 6-0. Remember, Champions won 2 straight. That could be an interesting tussle there. Now Transylvania at Front Street, Cleveland at Woodland, Putnam County at Hazard County, Greene at MaCross, Sheridan at Detroit, Yosemite at Akron, and Nashville at Winnipeg. Let's see, we need to select a game of the week and a Monday night game of the week. Okay, the game of the week in the PC, which will be played Sunday. Let's see. Let's go with Transylvania at Front Street. And for the Monday night game in the head-to-head side, let's do Alright, we'll do Nashville at New York. Okay, well, that wraps up the weekend review, week 7 here at TCFL Central. Remember, we'll have the Sunday night game of the week on Sunday, kickoff at 6 p.m. And we'll also have the Monday night game, Monday, kickoff, Monday night, 6 p.m. So, TCFL Central is signing off.